all of our Hexie blocks, all 19. We're ready to start putting them together. And the easiest way to do this is to lay out your block before you start stitching them together. And the best way to do it is lay it in a row of 3, a row of 4, a row of 5, a row of 4, and a row of 3. And that way you can, as you stitch things together, you can make sure that all your Hexies fit. Now if there are little edges between that are not quite lining up, don't worry about it. This is the easiest block ever. When you start stitching it together, it's totally cool. You can just reach up and nip it and manipulate the fabric to where when it's done, you'll never know it didn't exactly fit right. So just get all your long edges. Remember that long part of the Hexie? They all line up on the 3. Line up this way with your long edge. These are your long edges. On every block here, just line them up with that long edge and it'll all fit together. Okay, now we've got that part done. We're going to pretend like we have those rows stitched together. So this is how your block will look now, which by the way, orange is my favorite color. You probably can't tell that by the pictures I'm taking, but anyway. Okay, so now you've got your 3, your 4, your 5, your 4, your 3. To save yourself a lot of stitching time, which you know it will, there are 2 kinds of stitches you can do. I prefer to do a blanket stitch like this because when you turn it over, and yes, normally I would have used white, but this way you can see it, you can actually see all your little tiny stitches. I figure if I'm going to do it, I want the credit for it, and I like the back as well as I do the front. But anyway, so you can do the blanket stitch, or you can just do a lacing stitch, whichever you find easiest. So you go back here, you've got your block laid out, and you start to sew it together. But wait, there's more. There's always a mistake to be made, or you're not like me. I always have a mistake to make. I was stitching late one night. I was so happy. I was making traction. I can do these in my chair, watching TV, cool beans, right? Look what I did. When you lay your blocks out and you go to sew them together, look and check against what you have laid out, because if you turn them the wrong way, you now have, like on both of these, my purple is supposed to be there and my flower is supposed to be there. So before you stitch, check for the mistakes so you won't have fun like I do. Now, if you happen to do this, turn your block over. Look at all my little tiny stitches again. Turn your block over and stitch the ones together on the edges that are going to remain, because when you snip these apart, remember you sewed them in rows, you don't want it coming undone. So I put a stitch here, a stitch here, a stitch to lock, and then I take that mistake out, these 2, and then I just flip them and put them right back in and sew them. But if you don't put your stitch here, 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 and here, and there, you're not going to be able to keep all those rows together, which means you get to do all those fun little stitches again. Now you can put these together on the sewing machine, but what they showed on the TV show was a big wide zigzag stitch, and to me it took totally away from the kind of a fake grandma's garden type quilt, which I really love, but I don't have the nerve to actually sit in paper piece. So I suggest doing hand stitching. It's also relaxing, and I can take it out if it looks like crap. So anyway, those are your choices. And then when you're done, you have the most beautiful quilt. You start putting them together on your 3 points, and you just start lining your blocks up on those 3 points and put as many together as you want. For me, I'm going to put 42 of them together for a king size because I want it to hang over the sides. And I'm not going to put any inset in here. I'm going to leave this Hexie border just like a grandma's garden. Voila! There you go. Easiest, best quilt block ever, and you don't have to stress over it. My name is Sarah Briggs. Thanks for hanging with me. You're my test group for my first class ever in teaching quilting, so hopefully don't throw raw fruit. It'll hurt your computer. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.